Wowie, you willikers, that was loud. That started out loud. Oh no, nope. I'm prepared. And I am hoping that you'll notice a difference. I got a pop filter finally. So maybe there's no... I can do that now. I don't see any red lights on my board. So that's good. Welcome to the show. It's not really a show. It's a podcast. The podcast. The Stone Genius. The podcast. Which is different than the Stone Genius, the grocery store, which will be a thing maybe someday. It will just sell meat and potatoes. Maybe not even potatoes. I don't know. Ow! Criminy jack rabbits. I'm going to try not to curse on the show today. I'm going to mark it as explicit because I am 100% sure that I will be unable to do that for the entirety of the show. I had my phone hooked up. I was going to play music earlier. Maybe I'll just call people randomly. So I was going to expound on the Cinco de Mayo show with my wonderful co-host Bobby. From the what is it called? Dang. Oh, The Longest One Night Stand with Bobby and Ro. See, she usually introduces that show. I just say Ro. She does everything up to the Ro. And that's why I forgot the name of my other podcast. I swear I will do different sounds. Now, it's probably not going to be tonight because I have committed to Bobby that I will watch... And I was the one that initiated this. So I'm going to be honest about that. Bobby is the geese freak in our house. Did I say geese? I meant Grease, like the movie Grease. If I could start over on other shows just because I'm not happy with it, I should be able to start over on this one because I'm not happy 2 minutes in. But much like Bobby, during sex with me, even if it's not good during the first 2 minutes, she just closes her eyes, hopes that it gets better, and if not, hopes it ends soon. I'm not even doing a sound for that. It's weird, this pop filter that I'm... I'm going to do that a lot during the show, and maybe for the next upcoming shows. But let me tell you about this show. I had planned to talk about my new group that I'm starting, to lord over, to lead... Be their first leader, because I think there'll be many leaders, but to be their first leader. Actually, I'm going to be the only leader. I think that's the way it's going to have to be. It's not like I'm going to retire or anything. I'm in my 50s, so I'm pretty sure Mother Nature will retire me sooner rather than later. But the guys out pregnating group that I'm starting, it is going to be... I don't know, it's going to be awesome, amazing. I don't know the correct adjective to use. And honestly, I don't even know if an adjective is the correct term that I would need to use there. And you would think, whoa. It says genius in the title. But to be fair, it is the third word in the title. It's not the first two. So there were obviously two more important words in the title than genius. The Stoned Genius. So because it's third, you shouldn't be that surprised. Like it's not like if I was saying something about stoniness, being stoned, being high, being whatever, then I could understand because that's the second most important word. But now that I think it's also the second least important word in the title. So I don't know how I feel about that. I was going to do a show on what Bobby and I did yesterday because I'm excited. I've wanted to be a cult leader for a long time. And I think I have found it. I found my calling. And the plus that Bobby's allowing me to have sex with of age, consenting young women. I mean, that's a plus too. So, I mean, and I was going to look this up before the show. So I'm going to do it now while we're doing this. And, just, I'm going to give you sound effects. Beep, boop, beep, beep, boop. Actually, that could be some sort of something or other. So what I was going to look up is I've heard this, that Genghis Khan, and I'm not talking about the restaurant, the owner of the restaurants. I'm talking about Genghis Khan, the Mongolian ruler. In 2003, there is evidence that Genghis Khan's DNA was present in over 16 million men alive today. It says that the genetic prowess has stood as an unparalleled accomplishment. Understand this. This is from SmithsonianMag.com. So Genghis Khan, it said that the ruler's genetic prowess has stood as an unparalleled accomplishment. Challenge accepted, motherfucker. Damn it. Oh, shit. There's 3 cuss words in a row. Well, I made it 6 minutes. That should be something. I mean, if I can go 6 minutes without cussing, we should really celebrate that as a win for everyone, quite honestly. Because that 6 minutes seems like, for me, with my potty mouth, yeah. There's also a thing that just came up. It says 1 in 200 men are direct descendants of Genghis Khan. And then the next one after that, it says Genghis Khan, a prolific lover. Now, I will have a little bit of pushback on that because I'm going to say that perhaps, and I don't know this, I have no supporting evidence. I am much like the Republican Party with the 2020 election. I have no supporting evidence for what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. It says that Genghis Khan was a prolific lover. Maybe there weren't as many consenting women as we might think. I mean, because honestly, how do you know? Without social media, newspapers, any sort, how do you know? I mean, like everyone hears of the King of England, but in 1600, I mean, if someone came and dressed up, couldn't they pretty much go, I'm the king? I mean, it would take a lot of balls to do that. But anything worth doing in life takes a lot of balls. Or Hooters. I don't know. I don't know what the feminine equivalent of, let's just say everyone has balls. Let's just make everyone equal and everyone has balls in this instance. Not in all instances. This particular instance, everyone has balls. So my thought is if Genghis Khan can spread his seed like that, now, and he had trouble. Think about this. Genghis Khan was probably going by horseback. I don't want, once again, I don't have any facts to support this. Hold on. I'm going to change the images and see if it shows him on a horse. Nope, it shows him on a woman. I'm just kidding. Okay, and it does show him on a horse, but full disclosure, the horse that they're showing seems to be flying through the clouds. So I'm not sure that's an actual depiction of Genghis Khan. Now, there are many depictions of Genghis Khan, and going back to the whether consent was present when he was spreading his sperm, his ejaculate, I'm thinking that they were probably forced into it. Because I don't think. Now, I do believe there's someone out there for everyone. I believe that no matter what someone looks like, no matter, like me, a lot of people would look at me and just assume because I am so amazing. It's like, when looking at me, sometimes it's like looking at a solar eclipse. That maybe you shouldn't look directly at me. That's not the case with Genghis Khan. Like, I think I will have much better, like, I think I would have a waiting line of people wanting to sign the consent forms than he had outside of, once again, I have nothing that will say that he lived in a tent, but I'm going to assume that it was a tent-like structure. Man, hold on. You know what? Sometimes when you're high and you're like, I'm feeling kind of wonky, the best thing to do is hit it again. Because then you're going to know, like right now I'm in a in-between place. Like, can I go on or not? In just a minute, we're going to find out. Has this been dead? Oh, heck. Why do I always do that? I do. It's almost like I don't know I'm doing the show when I get ready to do the show. That would be a cool picture. I'm going to take this picture. Hopefully. Maybe. Just wait. What do you guys have better to do? Okay, the picture's gone now. Dang snack it, wacka. So challenge accepted. Oh, I was going to mention. Now, if the depiction of Ghengis Khan on a flying horse is true and correct, because once again, I have nothing to say that it's not true. I have nothing to say that it is true. I have nothing to say that it is not true. So if we make the assumption that his horse can fly, then that would change my following statement. If we find out his horse could not fly, I believe, because of the invent of the automobile, trains, plane, any mode of transportation, seems that it would be far superior now than during the time of Ghengis Khan. Once again, don't know that for sure. I'm just assuming that if I was going to get across Mongolia, I would have options now that I may not have had during the time of Ghengis Khan. And I just looked up when Ghengis Khan lived, 1162 to 1227. Died August 25th, 1227. Doesn't have the exact birth date. And had some spouses. Which it seems I'm hoping, not for the spouse's sake, because that's not right. I am hoping that the spouses, just the limit, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 spouses for Ghengis Khan listed. I am just hoping that they did not have all these children, because that seems like they were having a lot of children. Like it would make more sense to me if he was riding his horse, flying his horse from little town to little town and just impregnating the shit out. Now, I will say this also. If he flew in on a horse, all bets off. Does not matter what you look like. If you come in on a flying horse, it does not matter what you look like. You will get laid. So maybe that's what incels need. So I did some episodes on incels. I don't want to ever talk about them again. I'm sure that I will more often than I like. But maybe that's what incels need. If they get a flying horse, I would almost guarantee that they would get laid. They may have to say, yes, you can fly my horse later. But here's the deal, incels. If you're listening, I'm talking to you. If you get a flying horse, if you find a flying horse, make sure that you have sex prior to letting the person fly your horse. That's all I'm saying. I have a feeling that incels are so desperate for sex that they're going to, for lack of a better term, blow their wad and say, yeah, ride my horse. And then after they ride the horse, what incentive is there to have sex with an incel? But I switch that around. What's the reason to have sex with an incel? Fucking flying horse. If an incel, if they don't lie to me, because they don't always seem to be living in the same reality or same space that I am. If they don't lie to me and I get to fly their fucking horse, I may have sex with them. Now, I can't guarantee that. There would be a lot of factors. Like if the horse just flew but barely got off the ground, like I don't remember, I'm not a Star Wars person. In fact, I need to tell that story. The Starbucks I'm sure I've told it before, but I'm a stoner, so I'm going to tell it again. Starbucks, Star Wars, Star Trek. See, now that I've done this, I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah. Well, so obviously that last hit did it. So I'm going to tell the story about Starbucks. Because I am not, that's what I was going to say. It's like in the very first Star Wars, the only one I remember seeing. I saw it at a mall in Tampa on a Sunday afternoon with my sister and Sandra, who babysat me when we were little. She took us to the movie also. I think I was probably 9 or 10, whatever it came out. And then I lived with her and her husband when I lived in Florida, and Bobby and the girls were still up here when we were getting ready to move, job, whatever. But in the first one, they have those little, like, I want to call them Land Cruisers. If that's not right, I know there's a lot of fucking geeks out there that are going to let me know about it. But so that barely got off the ground. It like hovered just above the ground. So if they had a horse that barely hovered across the ground, even though it would be cool and expeditious, if you're too far away, it just looks like a fucking horse. You're not going to be able to tell it's off the ground. So, I mean, it needs to be doing loop-de-loops and flying through the sky. There's going to have to be a lot of things going on for me to be involved in this. But I am telling you, there are probably some, you'll be able to find girls out there that will not give a shit. If it barely hovers off the ground, like if you could get a horse to jump, you could probably convince a girl that it's flying. Even just tell them, it only flies 1 second at a time. There'll be people out there that believe that. Wow, I saw a flying horse. What? Yeah, it can only fly 1 second at a time. But yeah, all 4 feet were off the ground. I know, probably not feet. Hooves, feet, I don't know. Whatever. So anyway, so that's where I was going. So the Starbucks, Star Wars, Star Trek. I do not drink coffee. I am not a fan of Starbucks. Bobby loves Starbucks. She likes the different flavors. She likes whatever. I don't know. I cannot tell you exactly why she loves Starbucks. She loves Starbucks. The first thing that I don't like about Starbucks is they serve coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. And then it just goes down from there. So one day, I went to the drive-thru to pick up something for Bobby and surprise her at work. And when I pull up to the window to pay, there is a question of the day. And it says, Star Wars or Star Trek, tell us why. So they come out, they're about ready to hand me the coffee, and they point to the thing. So it's almost as if my coffee, not my coffee, because I don't drink coffee, Bobby's coffee. So this is even more important than my coffee. If this would have been a coffee for me, I probably would have driven off, even though I had paid, just to prove a fucking point, just to spite the nose on my face. But this coffee was not for me. And like everything a husband does for his wife, it is with the full-on intention of getting a hand job, blow job, or having sex later that night or day, whenever it fits into your schedule. So they wouldn't hand me the coffee. The person pointed to the sign and said, "What's your answer?" I said, "What do I look like? A fucking geek? Give me my coffee." So, I don't know if it went exactly like that. I am pretty high right now. That's how I remember it. And there would be nothing, if I tell that to anyone that knows me, there would be no one that would dispute the parts of that story. But I don't know. I may have just said, "Can I please have my coffee?" Because, no, I know I said I'm not a nerd. Because then I was like, shoot, they may spit in Bobby's coffee, but then they have those lids on, it'd be hard, and blah, blah, and then you'd see it through the phone, so I wasn't worried about that. But anyway, to get back, challenge friggin' accepted. I am going to try to get, now, if you haven't listened to yesterday's show yet, hello, why not? I got to get my vasectomy reversed first. So here's a story about my vasectomy. For guys that haven't had a vasectomy, it was not bad. And I tell you that after everything happens, everything's good as gold. So at this time, I did not shave my nether regions. And are you thinking, did he just say at this time? Yeah, at this time, I did not shave my nether regions, just so you know. So I'm going in to have the vasectomy. And our doctor's nurse that we saw at the time was a young lady named Brooke. And she was not an unattractive young lady. And she knew us, our family, daughters, and everything. So Trinity had been born not too long before this. So very well of everything. And I don't know why I didn't think about this beforehand, because I've had enough surgeries to know that they shave you. Wherever the incision point is going to be, they shave you. And they don't always do a gentle/good job of shaving you. My first knee surgery, the back of my leg hurt so bad, but when they were shaving me, they cut me on the tendon, and it was horrible. It was worse than the actual surgery, I think. So I was like, oh, great. So they take me back, kind of explain, hey, this is how the procedure's going on and everything. And then they're like, oh, and then Brooke's going to prep you and shave you. And I'm quite a bit younger. I'm 20 years younger this time. So I'm in my 30s. I don't know why that matters, but I am quite a bit younger than I am now. And so we go in there, and I shave my head. This is an important part if you don't know or haven't seen me. Pictures of me. I look identical to the green alien smoking a joint. So just not that green most of the year. And so Brooke says, hey, I got to take you back there and shave you. I was like, okay. And so I'm trying not to pay attention to what's going on. So I'm laying on my back, and to move my... because this is a medical procedure, I will use a medical term, my cock out of the way. So when they go, and they have to move it. So basically she takes it in one hand and then starts, well, first of all, she has to lather it up. So she I think a warm, wet, like a hot, wet rag or something to warm it up. So first of all, and guys, I know that I'm speaking to the choir. This would be for women, incels, people that have not experienced a vagina. And actually, women, you have vaginas with you at all times. So maybe you have experienced it. I don't mean to discount that if you have experienced this. So, and then and it's not just lay it there, but it's kind of let's dab around. So here is a young nurse. I know it's nurse. It's a medical procedure. I get this. Taking and then dabbing me. I quickly felt a redirection of my blood flow, blood supply, because I got lightheaded. And I was like, oh, this is not good. Blood ain't making it to my head. And she's like, yes, it is. And I was like, ugh. So then after it's warm and wet, which I'm almost positive this is a line from a Megan Thee Stallion song. But after it is warm and wet, she takes my medical term cock in her hand, and she needs to hold it out of the way while she shaves my groinular area. So move it to the left, move it to the right, up, move it around. In retrospect, I think this would have been better for me if I would have put on those anti-gravity boots and then hung upside down from a pole like a vampire, so that my junk, so that she didn't even have to hold it. It would just hang out of the way for her. And then I don't know whether that could be done. I don't know if I had to have a vasectomy again, whether I could ask for that. Actually, I will tell you, if I have my vasectomy reversed, I'll let it get out of control. There's going to be a lot of grooming going down there. We're going to spend some time. And I will let them know exactly what I like and what I don't like. Because I didn't do that last time, and I always complained to Bobby, let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. And I feel I should be doing the same. Anyhow. Anyway. So now that I've spent a half an hour on Ghengis Khan, 25 minutes on Ghengis Khan, and telling you that I am going to soak the United States with my ejaculate, metaphorically speaking, I think that's a metaphor. It's definitely hyperbole. I mean, at 54, it's not like I'm going to be able to impregnate more than one girl a day. I just don't think I can do that. I mean, when you get to a certain age, once you have sex multiple times in the day, you're really just giving your penis the dry heaves. I know that a lot of people just cringed at that, but I know there's some of you out there that laughed hysterically at that. So thank you, because you're the ones I do the show for. So now that I've spent a half an hour, 26 minutes on Ghengis Khan, I want to talk about the society. Now, I will tell you, there is very little chance that anyone from the High IQ Society, the society, is still listening. They were probably, once the word ejaculate, or more likely cock, came out of my mouth, they probably turned the proverbial dial. I don't even know if that's a point of reference anymore. It's like rolling down the windows in your car, like manually. Like, do people know? Because now when people do that, it looks like when football players or sports guys, feed me. That's what it looks like. Roll your window down and tell me it doesn't. That's what would be funny. Feed me. Why are you rolling your window down? Meep. So I meant to talk to the society specifically and let them know how grateful I am that they are there. They're the ones that make me laugh. Not like if you saw the video that Bobby posted of me from Sunday, where I had a slight case of medical term giggles, cannabis-induced giggles. But they make me laugh because I will ask a stupid question, and I was going to copy what someone wrote and then put it into a Word doc just so I could see the count of words. I mean, it was well into the thousands. I showed it to Bobby, and the first thing she said was, do these people have jobs? I don't know. My guess, my best educated guess is no. Or else you're being derelict in your duty to your job by writing these big things. Or actually, like most genius, you found out how to do your job in a way that takes up a minimal amount of time. Because it would be amazed that if I was in an office setting in the past, that it may take me 8 hours to complete a certain task. It would take me literally from the time I arrived in the morning to the time I finished in the evening. Give me no chance to deviate from that plan. However, when I worked from home, I was able to finish the same amount of workload in a couple of hours. I mean, 8 hours also. I really got to put some sounds on. Bow, 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 bow. I was going to do that also. I was going to go to Fiverr. That's a pretty cool place where people that are experts, and I always believe in going to experts, where people that are experts, you can have them make you a new, podcast cover art or a theme song. So I'm going to ask that they do, not necessarily for this show. I do like the bong rip intro. There's nothing, the only thing that would make it more appropriate is during the bong rip, if Einstein was in the background screaming like E equals MC squared. And I tried to do an Austrian accent there. I'm not sure that Albert Einstein came from Austria. But it seems as a genius that if I said that, it's probably true. And I wish that I had a producer, because they would be the ones in the background. Beep, boop, 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 boop. He wasn't. Germany. He was from Germany. So, Austrian, German accent. If you live in Europe, I get it. You would know the difference. Here in America, they wouldn't know the difference between an Austrian accent, a German accent, and a Danish accent. I'm just saying. Not necessarily the brightest. I don't even know what to call them. Populous. So that's why I'm so happy with and I put that post out, and this would have been, so I record the day before the show comes out, generally. So I posted it today on Thursday. It'll be yesterday to you all listening to the show the day it comes out. But I had posted on the website a thank you note for being there. Because when I ask a stupid question, generally a cannabis-induced stupid question, I get the answers. I mean, so I mentioned that I wanted to build Wings of Wax and Feathers and Fly to the Sun, much like Icarus, but I left that out of it. I just said it seems weird that no one's ever tried this. It was just a joke. I was hot. It was a joke. I think I legitimately have 3 explanations of how I can make it happen. I'm just saying. And I also had someone else send me a planet temperature calculator so that I would be able to guess the temperature that my wax, I could do some math on the background and find out exactly when my wings would melt. So, I don't know, man. And it seems weird that in the story, he wasn't that high when he was flying. It doesn't seem like he was probably any higher than what Ghengis Khan's flying horses were, because it didn't look like Icarus was out of the clouds. So it seems like whatever wax he was using was just the wrong wax, that its melt point was way too low. And I think that because if you've only flown to the clouds in our own atmosphere and your wings are melting, then you made a lot of miscalculations. I mean, a lot. So whoever thought these people were smart back then, yeah, that sounds great. Wax and feathers. Maybe there's something else. Maybe you make wings out of lead. Sure, that may be heavy, but guess what? You're going to be in space. Does anything weigh anything? I don't know. I don't think it does, but I've never been to space. So I'm just relying on the 9 people that have ever been to space and that are telling all these stories. I know it's more than 9. I needed a number on the fly, so I chose 9. You're lucky I didn't choose 4 or 2 or 0 or 420. You're welcome. I was just looking at my phone upside down and it freaked me out because it's 240. But all I saw were the 0, like a 0 next to the 2 and a 0 next to the 4. Now, it's upside down to me, so it looked correct. Yes, the 4 is upside down. I get that. And the 2 looks like a Z and an S had like a sexy baby or something. So like the way I'm looking at it, an upside down 2 on my phone, the top looks like a Z and the bottom looks like an S. It's very sexy. This upside down 2 is one of the sexiest numbers I've ever seen. The only other number I can think of that would be sexier than this is 69. And that's a throwback to last Friday's episode 69. So that made this episode 74, which means we're going to land on a Friday. We're going to have a Friday episode 99, and then we'll have a Monday episode 100 at some point. That will be amazing because I am going to party like it's 99. Literally, I'm going to party like it's the year 99. I'll probably wear a toga. I definitely will not wear anything under the toga. And I probably will not bathe prior to it, just so I smell the part of someone that lived in 99. But yeah, I'm going to party like it's 99 when we do our 99th episode. And then the 100th episode. That'll be a letdown. Triple digits. So, but that's pretty fun. That's cool. I did. I was going to say I didn't think that I would get to this point, but I don't think I thought about it. I think I knew that I would get to this point or I would not have even attempted to do this because I know that it doesn't seem like a lot of time and effort. If you go to my Instagram page, at The Stone Genius, you'll see yesterday, and you kind of have to zoom in on the first picture. I put a little white line next to it. I tried to do yesterday's episode, and I mentioned this 7 times before I finally got the episode out. And that doesn't count all the notes, I know it sounds like I'm just rambling. And I'm sure that I am. That's why a co-host at some point is going to be so beneficial to me. That's why I love having Bobby on the show. Like we say, we came up with a number last night. Now, I will say, if you've listened to the show, I do not think it's the same number as the suck my dick bitch number. I think that's going to be astronomically higher. That's for you that have not listened to that episode yet. It is a amount of money that we have that I could say that phrase, suck my dick bitch. No animosity, no malice, just a request, but request it like that, using that verbiage. And Bobby would just go, okay. Because I know that there would be a number. It would be a very high number for that to happen, but I know that would be a number. So we threw out a number yesterday that if we made that amount of money, we will let people video us 24/7. We'll do a podcast 6 days a week. I don't want to do 7 days a week. I don't even want to do 6 days a week, but I would because what the fuck else am I doing? I had not dropped in a cuss word in a while, so I thought that I would do that for the crowd. Oh, you're welcome. No, thank you. I appreciate it. I really need to fade the crowd in and out. Or the crowd could start in like this. They're just going crazy and then, get it. But see, that's something that a producer, an actual producer, because I am multitasking here. And not even in a good way. Generally, people, when they talk about multitasking, they're talking about doing multiple things in at least an acceptable fashion. When I multitask, there's one thing that's going to be done probably really, really well, and then the other things are just being done. So, but there's a number that she threw out there. That number is $150,000 a year. We would relocate to Denver at that point. I love Denver. And then I'd be close to Tim, because I know Tim's still listening at 39-minute point. So yeah, that's about it. I'm going to keep this short today because I don't want to just talk. And I don't think that my genius friends are still listening at this point. Man, I lost the cap to my pen. Gosh, Fruity Frumps. Fruity Frumpies. Hold on. If you're still here, you can give me a couple seconds. Oh, yeah. So someone on the website, the society our group, they asked me what I was smoking. Whatever comment I made or a question I threw out there was a response, what are you smoking? So I told them the name of the strain. It's Gushers. I said, the name of the strain is Gushers. It makes me very creative. Not useful creative, just very creative. So And that's kind of how this one is right now. And it is. It's fine. Whatever. For all the geniuses out there, thanks for making my world better. And here's the easiest way to think about this. Because average folk always want to assume that they're much smarter than what they are. I've read the quote a few times this week already about how stupid people just already know all the answers. And there's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter. You can prevent or produce and show them information to the contrary of their held beliefs, and it's not going to matter. So I very much think about if you're an average person, think about if you went to a party that all it was scientists. Now, I will have to say the disclaimer, you can still be an average person and a scientist. So if you're a scientist, you may enjoy this. You may have that geeky, nerdy part of your personality and still not be a genius. But think of a situation when you have been uncomfortable because of the level of conversations that are going on around you. Think about how that made you feel because, wow, I don't even have anything to offer into these conversations. That's how many of us genius feel when we are dealing with average folk. I mean, I can't explain how I get from A to B. I can't explain how I know stuff. This is why I love having Bobby on, because every once in a while she'll talk about it. And one of the things is she stopped asking me how I know things. Because there was a time where I'd be like, well, how do you know that? And I wouldn't know. And that wasn't a good answer for her. But now she just knows that somehow along the way, I have picked up that piece of information and kept it. And so when I am around people that may not, and it's not even the same interest. It's how the information is processed and one of these explanations I got about how to effectively create wings of wax and feathers, it wasn't like I wouldn't have been able to come up with that. That was not in my wheelhouse. But I still appreciate it, and I still can understand where that came from, that's why sometimes when people get frustrated with Trinity, it's because of a decision or conclusion that they reached, people don't understand that. I myself, because Trinity is a genius and I'm a genius, that I can understand it. I get it. You know, I would relate it to if you're in a field, if you're a SME, a subject matter expert in any field, that there are probably people that are subject matter experts also that you just understand the way they talk. Or even if they come to a decision, whether you agree with the decision or not, you can understand the processes that led them to reach that conclusion, that decision. And so when I communicate with the society members online, and I am going to start being more active, starting to ask if some of them will be on the show as guests, I just think, and I don't even know what we talk about. And that's the cool thing, is that a lot of times when I'm talking to someone, I just want to learn about them. And so often geniuses can be accused of being distracted easily. That's why I believe many geniuses, not many, because it's not like there's a high percentage number, but I do believe that there were geniuses like myself that were misdiagnosed with ADHD. And that was more because of my mother. She believed I had ADHD. In fact, when I became an adult, she believed I had adult deficit attention, ADHD. And so they wanted to prove that that's why I dropped out of college. So they needed a reason for something. They needed to justify. Like one thing I've always hated is if they ask me a question, I give them an answer. If it's a no answer, I give them a no. I don't need an explanation. Hey, Rod, can you come over and help us tomorrow night? No. Nothing else needs to be said besides no. But they need an explanation. Well, why can't you? Because they need to be able to justify in their mind whether my excuse is valid. And if it is not valid, then there will be some sort of consequence to that. So I understand and just I will look at Trinity and be like, yeah, I get that. I mean, I may not agree with it, but I will totally understand how you had the input and the output, or how the input resulted in the output, where some people will see that and go, I don't understand that. That's the difference between genius and even super smart people. I once heard it said that you could take 10 super smart people and they wouldn't be able to do what one genius can. It's not that they're physically, well, it is, they're physically unable. They're mentally unable to do it. Whatever's going on in our friggin' minds, which is probably some sort of mental illness, whether it's spectrum, being on the spectrum, whether it could be any number of things. But that's why we perceive things differently. And that's why I love this society so much. Because when I was a member of Mensa, they had things called SIGs, special interest groups, which you could go. So back in the 80s and 90s, you physically had to go to these things. So it wasn't anonymous online where you may see someone's profile pic or something like that and be able to read about it, but you weren't physically there exchanging the same air as they were breathing. And I found many of those people probably the same way now, that if I was in a physical proximity to some of the people on the society, that I probably would still have a pushback, because I'm not I like crowds, but I don't like people. So some of you would be like, that doesn't make sense. Geniuses will totally understand that. But I am so grateful that this new society, and Alice, who will be on, we're trying to lock down a date. I think we have a date in August and maybe July, but I'm pretty sure it's July, not August. See, now I'm screwing myself up, because she sent it as, I think she sent it as 8/7, but I think it's 7/8 because she's in Europe and everywhere else does month, day, year, except the United States. So I'm pretty sure that we have decided on a date. I did tell Alice that I was going to need additional information of when she wanted to do the call, because I was going to have to do some math. We're about 7 hours apart. So we're not about 7 hours apart. We are 7 hours apart. Sorry, I didn't want there to be any vagary there. So that will be on. So I'm going to talk, but it's amazing because I've been a member of the International High IQ Society since the early 2000s, 2001, 2003. I could look it up. I want to say 2003, but I don't know for sure. Anyway, I've been, for almost 20 years, I've been with this society, and it has only been over the past many months, and I have no judgment of time anymore. Remember, I had an argument with my wife a few days ago, Bobby, about what day of the week it was. I said it was Thursday. She goes, it's Tuesday. I go, no, it has to be at least Wednesday. And she goes, I'm the one that goes to work. And I said, touche. And she goes, no, I'm not going to Touche's tonight. That's the alleged swingers club. And I say alleged because I'm not sure it is, but I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing. Because generally when you say alleged, it's alleged bad thing. That person's an alleged arsonist, an alleged pedophile. Whatever it's alleged is generally followed by bad. So when I said alleged swing club, there is no malice, there is no judgment. No. There is no judgment. So that being said, yeah. So, but, oh, Bobby. I forgot what I was saying about her. See, now I am too high. So this is that last hit. That took some time to get in, but I'm feeling it now. Anywho, anyhow, anyway, I stretched this out to 50 minutes. I was going to try to get it to an hour. I just couldn't do it. And roughly 6 people are listening at this point. I bet there is. And I bet someone who's a 50-23. I'm going to have to see if that registered. If it sounded like there was something going on in the background, our dog just let out a big, she's ready for the show to be over. She's ready for me to come over there and pet her, brush her, do things that we do together. Anywho, anyhow, anyway, thanks for listening to the show. Thank you to the society. Thanks for being there for me. I don't remember where I was finishing that story with Bobby, but it had something to do with her wanting to smack me, I think. Oh, I was just talking about the society. How much I am appreciative of this society and how interactive it is now. Our network that we have now with the people, and there's a core group. There's probably 50 to 100 that I will see making comments, not on every post, but on occasional posts. And there's many more members than that. So, and then, I'm sure there is a welcome committee. I am not officially on it, but when a new member arrives, I do shout out and say, welcome to the new member, because I think they'll like it. It is I would say that my mental state is much better when I can communicate with my Genius network than I can communicate with my real world network. I wanted that to sound a little sad, because as I was saying it, it did sound a little sad, but it shouldn't, because it's amazing. So anyway, I'm going to have, I don't know what I'm going to, I do, Monday. Unless somehow something happens tomorrow, which would be Saturday, 2 days for me. Tomorrow, the guys from Cran Organics are going to stop by. Daniel and Alex will be on the show. I am hoping I'll put it out on Monday. We will be talking about how their rollout came, how 420 went for them, and then kind of just catch up a little. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I believe this time, as opposed to last time, because we're going to get high this time. At least I am. I did not get high last time because I had guests. And I understand that. I was trying to be professional. But then I remembered I do host a show called The Stoned Genius. Much like I said how genius was the third word, stone's the second word. And it's The Stoned. So it's like an identifier. Like it's who is the stoned. Not two E's, The Stoned Genius. I was worried about getting in trouble with Megan Thee Stallion if I use The Stoned Genius. So stoned is second in there. Just always remember that. So I'm getting stoned. I didn't do it last time. And I regret that. Not this time. We'll have a lot to catch up on. Next week, I don't know what my shows will be about. Probably talk about my new organization. Guys out pregnating. I'm going to need some officers for the club. I'm calling all DILFs. And this is a DILF only type thing. Because what we're looking for, old guys with limited life expectancy left, because you don't want to have to pay a whole 18 years of child support, especially if you're going to Ghengis Khan yourself into thousands of kids. I don't even know how that would work out. They would probably put you in debtor's prison, which I don't even know is a thing. And then you would have to become like friends with a guard so that you could jerk off in your cell so that I could sneak my sperm out. And it would be like in the Jurassic Park, the original one, like the shaving cream cans. So that's how my person would get it out. That would get, or if they need to keep a body temperature, they could just carry it out in their mouth. That's only if they send me to a women's prison. What the fuck do I care? If they're getting it out there, I'm impregnating people, I'm doing a service, whether behind bars or not. And I wonder if I could still continue to have conjugal visits. We'll see. There's a lot to work out. So that's what I'm going to spend this weekend on. I am going to spend the entire weekend outside of the hanging out with the guys from Crane Organics and doing weird things with Bobby. I am going to figure out some other stuff about the society. I already have the logo. I've mentioned the logo. On Fiverr, I'm going to see if someone will design that logo. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what the guidelines there. If I say I want a donkey fucking an elephant. And the thing is, it's going to have to be a gigantic donkey to fit in the elephant. So that being said, I don't know. I'm just worried that if I ask someone from Fiverr to make me a logo of a donkey fucking an elephant, that they may turn me into someone. I don't know who, but I would assume there is some sort of body that would probably look into things like that. The same way that I am worried about getting a van to do remote podcasting, because I'm going to have to talk someone into, when I buy the van, I'm going to have to talk someone into taking it to a shop for me and convincing the person at the shop to soundproof the van. And I think that's going to be a hard sell. I think that no matter what excuse you give them, they're going to assume that you're going to be abducting people. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't have those concerns. Not with me personally, but you know what? They can't look at me and go, oh, this guy that wants the soundproof van, he's not the bad guy in this instance. So, that being said, do you love that? I don't know how often I've said so in this, but now I've just said it twice. 57, almost 58 minutes. We're going to call that a go. Because I know that for Alyssa, knowing that as she's driving home from work, listening to the show, which, does she work on Friday or not? I don't know. But she knows when the show's ending at an hour that she should be arriving home soon. So this, for you, Alyssa, this is congratulations, you're almost home. For everyone else, this is the end of the show. Thank you for making it till the end. Same exact thing I say to Bobby when we have sex. I am Ro. I am the Stone Genius. This is the Stone Genius, the podcast. Thanks for joining.